Hi YouTube and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. My name is Chanel and I'm the resident reader for this YouTube channel, as well as for the Divine Resolution Tarot business that operates in Minnesota. If you need a reading, all of the information is in the description box down below. This is going to be a twin flame reading, and I'm actually releasing 3 readings for the month regarding twin flames. This is because I've had so many twin flame clients lately reaching out to me that I feel like I need to do some more twin flame readings. So I already have a reading uploaded for the divine masculine and feminine. It's taking a look at how you're both viewing the relationship in March. The link to that will be down below if you need to take a look at that. It kind of talks about what you're both thinking and feeling about the situation. This is a reading that's from the perspective of the divine masculine. So for you masculines, if you're watching this, this may kind of help you understand why you're feeling what you're feeling. For you feminine viewers, this is going to give you a look at what your masculine has going on in his head and heart space. I'm just going to pull the cards and then I'll tell you what I see. All right, bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords in the reverse. So, looks like divine masculine has gotten out of his own way. There was obviously an ending here, and I feel like that has a lot to do with the fact that the situation has not been equal as far as reciprocity. I also see that there could have been some deception exposed, and so there was a real kind of transformation as to the character of the divine masculine. There was an ending here, and the ending wasn't just with the divine feminine, but it's also been an ending to him being uninterested in the relationship. I feel as though when this King of Wands comes out, it's someone who's very unfaithful, but it also talks about someone who lacks follow through. They don't know who they are and they don't really know what they want as a result of that. And so this is kind of the energy that goes wherever is exciting for the moment. Okay. Now I'm seeing this paired with the Seven of Swords in the reverse. And so this has me feeling as though there was some deception around an ex-partner, because this King of Wands in the reverse can signify an ex or someone who cheats, right? It looks like that's come to an end. But what's interesting is what follows here, because we have the energy of the Four of Cups. So even though this person, this divine masculine, has realized that his behavior has brought about ending with his feminine, there's still an energy of being so full of regret for the way things happened or feeling foolish that he's still not reaching out to try to take this opportunity. Now, the interesting part as we move forward is that I see him getting out of his own way, but there's an energy of self-deception here, and that's being followed by the Knight of Cups. So to me, this is actually the masculine getting into a space where he moves forward with some sort of offer of love or apology, but I feel as though it gets denied or rejected because it's followed by the Page of Cups in the reverse. Now, it seems as though the masculine took a long time to come in with this, and it's almost like through his grief, he decided to move forward with something. But I feel as though this could go 2 ways. This is either him coming into the feminine and trying to apologize, and she rejects him. So he goes back to doing the same toxic things he's been doing. Or this is him still ignoring his feminine and moving on with a karmic partner and that not working out, but him having a hard time moving on from his connection with his feminine, or having a hard time moving past the need to really come in and apologize to her again. Okay. So it's 2 different storylines, but either way, it still ends with kind of this stalemate energy. however you got there, right? That's kind of where you are, is the Six of Swords in the reverse. So this is going back to something toxic. And I feel like it's really out of pride and it's out of ego that this is happening. There's a standoff here, and it's almost the energy of someone trying to one up the other one, so that it's like, you don't make me feel bad. You can't make me feel anything, right? I'll show you. I don't need you. I'll go over here. Okay. So it looks like there was an opportunity for change, but then it looks like the cycle kind of has continued. And I feel like Spirit's trying really hard to break that cycle. So we're going to take a look at what the Divine Masculine thinks about his Divine Feminine. We have the Five of Cups in the reverse. So he thinks, for you feminine viewers, that you are over this connection, right? You're avoiding him. Maybe you're bored of him. And I feel as though if he came in and you rejected him, that's why he feels this way. I also think that he's in a space of hoping that you'll view him as a real option or opportunity in your life. I think there was a lot of him that was grieving over what he thought was lost. There's an energy of him feeling as though he had a lot of regret. And now it's like he's trying to gas himself up to be able to come in and talk to you again, okay? For some of you feminine, you started a relationship with someone else, or you decided to move on or just reject your masculine altogether. So that's very much the energy of him thinking that you're really over it. And that commitment is coming out, right? So it's showing me that he thinks that you're committed elsewhere, or that you're ready for something else. I think at this time, though, the masculine is also starting to see the opportunity that he had with you. And so he's thinking that he would like to try to be an option in your world or in your life, right? He definitely is thinking there's other people involved in the situation. Yeah, and he thinks that you won't come back to him because you're displaying such an air of detachment that he feels as though you've made your choice. For a lot of you feminine, you've decided to date someone else due to whatever this argument was and the fact that it took your masculine too long to come in, okay? I think here, though, what I'm seeing is that your masculine is really banking on you coming back if they can show you that they've grown up and that they're willing to be vulnerable to you. This is the energy of them almost hoping that if they can pull you back into the love that you felt for them in the past, or the lust or passion, if they can try to wow you and take you out and spend time with you, it's actually them hoping that they can come in between your new connection or whatever you've been doing, that you will change your mind, okay? I'm going to take a Divine Masculine Oracle so that we can get some insight as to what's going on. What does the Divine Masculine think about his Divine Feminine, please? I'm trying to change. And that's exactly it. It's like he doesn't know how to fix this, and he sees that he's losing you. You know, he sees that you may be with someone else. And so it's almost the energy of, if I can try to show her that I'm here, or that I'm different, or that I can be the things that she wanted me to be back then, maybe that'll be enough, right? Because at this point, he feels as though you've moved on with someone else. Now, what he feels for you, feminine, is the Page of Swords in the reverse. So this is withdrawing. This is no communication. He feels as though you're angry, that you'll never forgive him. He feels as though you're very uninterested in the connection at this time. Tell me more about what he feels. I feel as though he's watching you slip away. You know, he's watching you decide not to have a life with him. There's also the energy of him feeling as though he needs to step into his role as a masculine and stop displaying any kind of immature behavior. That's exactly it. that he may have been showing you in the past, right? He feels like he'd like to have a conversation with you, but I think it's almost the energy of like you having gone from really giving him ultimatums and wanting him to do things to now you just don't even care, right? You're no longer trying to grow this with him, and he feels that, right? Give me a card for what he feels for his divine feminine, please. I want you. I've never forgotten you. So, unfortunately for you feminine viewers, this is the energy of your masculine wanting you because they see someone else wants you too. And I don't think that that's the only reason why your masculine is suddenly interested, but he feels that you're giving your attention to someone else, right? And he feels you slipping away. And now it's all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, I have to go after her, right? Tell me for what the divine masculine thinks his feminine is thinking about him. We have the 10 of Swords in the reverse. So he thinks that you are thinking that he lives in the past, right? There's also an energy of him thinking that you feel as though he's hit rock bottom. And that's probably because you've moved on with your life in a way that's relatively public. And so he thinks that you're almost looking at him like, well, how does it feel, right? This wasn't the end of me. This isn't the end all. I can move on, right? And it's almost as though he feels that energy of like the tables being turned or the shoe being on the other foot. And he feels as though you've gotten the advantage here, that's how you're feeling, that you kind of one-upped him in a way and put him in a space where now he has to worry and he's up thinking about what it is that you may be out doing, right? I feel like deep down though, with this 10 of Swords in the reverse, your masculine is hoping that you still think of him, right? Give me an oracle card for this, please. Yeah, I thought that was it. Humiliation in the reverse. Promises in the reverse. Money in the reverse. So, for you feminine viewers, your masculine thinks that you feel as though he provided you with no stability whatsoever. That he broke promises, that there's a lot of bad memories between the two of you, that there's an energy here where your masculine feels like you want him to chase you, like you're getting over it. Some of your masculine, I have to say, feel as though you are only committing to someone else or spending time with someone else because they haven't been spending time with you and you're lonely. Tell me anything else for how our masculine thinks the feminine is feeling, please. I think they're watching you get a lot of attention, feminine. Why would this regrets be here? For some of you, your feminine or your masculine feels as though you regret him altogether, or you regret the time that you spent on him. I think some of you, feminine, just so you know, your masculine kind of thinks this relationship that you're in or whoever you're pursuing it's like a sham or a false face, because you will never feel the way you feel about your masculine. For them, that's kind of what's coming through here, is still this element of cockiness where it's like it hurts them to watch you walk away, but at the same time, it's that feeling of like, well, she'll never find the same connection with someone else that we have, right? Now, if you've watched your masculine be with someone else, he's well aware of the fact that you feel betrayed. And that's probably what's making you move forward, is that the energy of feeling like he didn't choose you. This is also a little bit, I don't want to say paranoid, but it is kind of paranoid, because this Page of Swords in the reverse can be paranoid too, or jump to conclusions. This is kind of the energy of the masculine thinking the feminine is a little bit out to get him and trying to pick someone over him so that he feels how he's made her feel. Okay. So it's really, his mind is kind of starting to play tricks on him, right? I don't think that's the case. I don't think for the majority of you feminine that you're just out to hurt your masculine. I think you really are just in a space of feeling like it's time to do something new. But that's their ego being triggered, where they're kind of thinking that your world revolves around them, right? So if we had to ask our masculine about the feminine's energy, what would he say he thinks that she's thinking of him, please? I need you to say it. I love you and I wish you'd talk to me. So obviously communication is not that great, because we also have what went wrong, right? So masculine knows that feminine still loves him and is waiting on an apology and an explanation of what happened, right? Because it seems like it happened very quickly in the time I've been reading for you all. It's like maybe you were in union and then just nothing, right? Or not even communication. So this is the energy of the masculine feeling as though feminine does miss him, but she's standing her ground. And she's telling him, you know, this is what I would need if you came back into my life, or for me to be able to talk to you, right? What the divine masculine thinks the divine feminine is feeling about him is the Seven of Pentacles. So again, this is him thinking that no matter where you go or what you do, you're still very invested in him, regardless of what it may look like on the outside, right? Deep down, he feels as though you're invested and you're very sad over the loss of this connection, right? He could also be feeling as though you're looking towards your future, though, and you're investing in someone that is able to give you what you want right away. Tell me anything else for what the divine masculine thinks the feminine is feeling. Despair and disappointment. Emptiness in the reverse. So I feel like masculine is really thinking that because he took too long to come back, this is quite literally the energy of him feeling as though you went off to do something else because you were feeling so miserable about him. And it's from his ego, right? In all honesty, it looks like for you feminine, there was a soulmate that came into your life to try to help you heal. But for your masculine, they're taking this extremely personal, right? They may be even thinking about trying to come in and break up your connection and put you in a space of having a liaison with them or cheating on your partner, right? Because in their mind, there's still a little bit of disbelief here where it's like, she wouldn't move on without me, right? Or that other person just, they're not me. They'll never be me. And I can still try to come in and just remind her, right? Let's pull an oracle card for what the divine masculine thinks the feminine feels for him. I feel so betrayed by you, and I'm tired of trying. I feel like giving up on you, and did you ever care? And I think, you know, when I did the relationship reading, that really was what the feminine was feeling, where she was like, I don't even know if this was ever real or if I just made this connection up in my mind because the way that this has happened, right? So I know that when I'm reading these cards, sometimes throughout this reading, it's coming through as the divine masculine is seen through the lens of his ego, right? Like, oh, she just, wants me to feel bad, or she's just going off with this other person. She'll never find another me. But at the same time, they are aware of the way that they've made you feel. Now, for you feminine viewers, I don't know if that makes you feel better or if that makes you feel worse, because if they know how they make you feel and the behavior doesn't change, that's quite frustrating, right? But we do see the masculine coming in and saying, I am trying to change. This could also be the energy of him choosing to not reconcile with people in his life that he put over you, okay? That it's time for him to stop being so non-committal, or it's time for him to stop committing to everyone but you, right? How this is affecting him is the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So he's feeling a real passion or a loss of passion in his life, He's also feeling as though he's missed an opportunity to be with you, okay? He feels like a failure with this Ace of Wands in the reverse. He's got a lot on his mind. He's got a lot in his heart. He feels as though he's having to face life alone, that you're not available to him anymore to be able to kind of shoulder the burden of the things going on in his life. This is really affecting his self-esteem and how he's viewing himself. He feels as though he's lost something that he wanted or a part of himself. So let's pull an oracle card for how this is affecting him. Grief. That's exactly it. He feels really bad, and he may even be with that attraction and soulmate, trying to flirt with a karmic partner to make himself feel better. If that is the case, that's him going back to a relationship that should be over because it's just done, right? And it's quite a burden once he gets more into it. Like, it's something that once he gets there, it's the energy of the situation making things more difficult in his life, and also a way of him kind of being in denial about being upset with you or upset about the fact that you've moved forward. But it's also him being in denial about the fact that this relationship that he keeps kind of going back and forth to is just not in his best interest, right? He is definitely feeling badly, but if he is dealing with anyone else, just know there's no passion involved. This may not even be something that is a physical relationship, because it's almost the energy of him just not wanting to be alone or looking for some sort of emotional support. And I feel like ultimately that's going to be something that he does end up leaving, because the dynamic is really toxic wherever that situation is, right? He's just trying to find something to do while he waits for you to decide if you want to be with him again. And he's hoping that if he does deal with someone else, that'll reignite the passion that you used to feel for him, right? Because he feels as though maybe if you see him being desirable to other people, that will get your attention, okay? I'm going to pull an oracle card for how to deal with your energy. Now for you, divine masculine, I'll pull you some advice for how to deal with yourself, because this is a reading about you. Hey, nice. King of Wands came out. So that's the energy of you getting into a place where you're being very direct about what you want. You're chasing your passion, or you're going after, what you need. This is also the energy of you being independent. So be mindful if there are masculines watching about going back to something that only breeds further codependency, right? The King of Wands is very persuasive. So, perhaps you can persuade your feminine to give you some of their time. But this is also the energy of someone who is very hardworking, okay? This is somebody who, they know what they want and they go after it, and they reinvent themselves to really become the person that they need to be to manifest the desires that they have, but also to be able to build the life they want, right? For you, divine masculine, we have mother healing. As your feelings toward your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately. So for some of you, if you have some maternal situations that you need to look at, now is a very good time to do that. We also have friendship, a new dawn, treasure chest, and protection. So masculine, these will be for you. And then these are the feminine, how you can deal with the feminine or kind of look at the energies of your feminine, advice for that. So what you need to know right now, masculine, is friendship. Make a date for a play day with one or more friends. It may be time to get out and kind of, that King of Wands is very athletic. So it may help you to start doing things that are more of a physical pursuit, to alleviate stress, right? Because it looks like now you're having to deal with more things on your own. So you might want to find some healthy ways to start kind of getting that off your chest, right? Like boxing or running or, kayaking, whatever, right? Go do some stuff with friends that's physical, okay? Because that'll really help to clear your mind. We also have a new dawn. The worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. So you may not feel like it, masculine, if you're feeling very badly about what's going on with your feminine. But this really is the next phase in your relationship, because with this King of Wands energy, this is you not only reinventing yourself, but taking everything that you've learned and really having dealt with your feelings and any baggage and being able to present a new self, to the world, okay? Now, how to deal with your feminine, we have treasure chest. An unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. So we have two things talking about a newness, and that really has to do with this cycle coming to a completion. It may not seem as though things are working in your favor, but Spirit is telling you that it is, okay? We also have protection. You, your loved ones, and your possessions are safe and protected by heaven. So this is talking about that relationship that you have with your feminine. You may feel as though it's not going the way you want, but it is going the way it's supposed to. Also, when I was reading for the masculine energy, I did see some pregnancy things and some maybe complications with the pregnancy, as well as, like I said, those mother issues. So anything that you may be worried about or any stress you may feel as though you're having in your life, Spirit is here and watching out for you, masculines, okay? Now for my feminine viewers who are happening to come across this, I'm going to pull you some oracle cards. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use the same deck. And I'll use the other deck in the extended reading where we take a look at what your divine masculine wishes that he could say to the feminine, what the divine masculine knows he's made the feminine feel that affects him the most and really that he regrets the most, right? We're going to also look at how he's currently dealing with those feelings, kind of like what he's doing in his life, how it's affecting his actions towards his feminine. And we're also going to take a look at what Spirit is doing to work on the divine masculine to facilitate this union. Because of that, we're going to take a look at what actions he'll be taking in the next few weeks towards his divine feminine. And we'll pull some more advice cards from the Oracle deck as well. So self-employment, you're a born entrepreneur and your business is surrounded by magical opportunities. For some of you feminine, your masculine has actually been removed from your life because they were a bit of a distraction for something that you had to do for your spiritual kind of soul contract in this life, okay? So feminine, we have playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation. You're being actually advised to do the same thing, right? Go out with friends. We also have a new dawn for him, but we have time to move on for you, feminine. It's time to let go of the old and worn out so that the new can come in. And that very much mirrors this new experiences on the horizon. The worst is behind you. Like I said, you're moving into a new cycle. For you feminine, it does look a little bit like your cycle will start with someone else for a while because we have this soulmate relationship coming in. New romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now, okay? But again, new abundance, new romance. So it could be a resurgence of this with the masculine, but it really could be that it's time for something new, and it's time for the masculine to open up a new version of himself, or to really start looking into some of the things that he's keeping hidden with that treasure chest. For you, feminine, we have simplify your life. Eliminate clutter from your home and work life to balance the flow of activities. So this again kind of talks about that same energy that we talked about with this here. It's getting rid of any old ideas, anything that you just don't need anymore, and making your life very simple and following your bliss, right? Okay, I hope this was helpful to you. Down below is the information for the extended to look at what we talked about. And I will speak to all of you again soon, but you take care of yourselves and good luck with this. Bye. He longs for the time that you spent together. He made you feel as though you wanting him in your space, for you feminine viewers, was a burden, or you were just smothering him. And now it's like he wishes he could have that time back with you. You know, it's like wishing for a rewind button, right? But there isn't one.